Where's my beer?
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Beering me all the time.
Beer you all the time. Hells yeah. Hound dogging it.
Hound dogging it.
Hound dogging it.
Hound dogging it.
Cheers.
Cheers to hound dogging it
Yeah,
at the bar.
to hound dogging it at the bar. And welcome to the bar.
Welcome to the bar.
Welcome to the bar.
For an earlier episode this fine Saturday.
We jingling out on a day episode today.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. It's nice to throw in a day episode every now and then. Especially when you do something cool and there's all good news in the air.
All good news! That never happens. I'm
Let
excited.
the good news project around as the good news can.
Yes. I'm excited.
This show is only going to be full of good news.
Good news. Good news. Gospel brings good news.
Good news. The church got a new PA system. Good news. The church got a new PA system today.
You know what's funny?
We can hear each other louder over the church's new PA system today.
Yay!
Hallelujah! Boy, that speaker sounds good.
Well, we'll tell your story in a minute.
Okay.
Because I had a thought. So, speaking of gospel and church, you know what's funny is I'm not a church fan, but I like gospel. And it's a problem.
Why is liking gospel a problem?
Because when you don't like Catholic religion, and there's gospel music that sings about the Catholic religion, it's like listening to music about raping children.
Oh.
Like, you like the style of music, but you don't like the message of it.
Fair.
I just have to look at it from a different point of view,
Okay,
I guess.
Shift your perspective.
Shift it. And there's nowhere else you can listen to gospel music besides church.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the pocket of where you're going to find good gospel music is within the realm of church.
Yep. Generally.
You know, because gospel music dates back so far, and I think, like, you know, people have been singing gospel-y things before, you know, even having the ability to amplify it through, like, an amplifier or something. It's just something that people have been doing, gathering around, you know, singing gospel songs for thousands of years.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So it's been around since whoever started preaching and singing, really.
Yeah, and who knows when that was.
A long time ago,
A zillion years ago.
A lot of time ago, yeah.
Yep. Also very much feeling pink today. Feeling pinky. And blue.
Yeah, look good. I just have a gray shirt on. I'm very flat today with my gray. That's okay.
That's alright.
I was just feeling a gray shirt.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You were colorful last time, I think.
Maybe. I have been making an attempt to aim for brighter colors, though. So today's episode might feel some gray. But in the general scheme of things...
While you were working.
Yeah, I just came out of a dusty setting and I was fixing things. So I didn't want to put on anything too fancy.
Which is amazeballs, and I'm so thankful and happy.
Yeah, for sure. So Amanda has a bass amp and a cab that have been sitting there for a long time.
And in case you don't know what a cab is, it's speakers.
Yes.
In a box.
The speakers that you hear the bass noise come out of that go burr, burr, burr. That. So the speakers that Amanda had were good, but the amp itself that boosts up that signal to drive to the speakers was having some issues. It was not having a good time.
It was staticky, and then it was sad, and it didn't want to make noises.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was sad, and I didn't want to make noises either.
Exactly. So I had to try to fix an amp, and this is probably the first one that I can say that I fixed.
Yeah.
And I'll put fixed in quotes because it's working good now.
You fixed it because you heard the problem, you saw the problem, you tried different things.
I did. I tried a bunch of things.
Where the problem was.
That's true.
And then once you figure out where the problem was, you figured out how to solve the problem, and then
Yeah.
you solved it. So therefore, you fixed it.
Nice.
That's fixing it.
I think essentially, and I hope most people, do it the same way, but you can't fix a problem if you don't know what the problem is.
Absolutely.
So you got to try and figure out...
Got to find the problem.
What's causing the problem. You just know that the sound's not coming out, and there could be...
a bazillion different
reasons. 1,000 different reasons why it's not working.
Yeah.
So you could give up without even trying to fix it.
Like I did.
Or you could, I
pouted.
You just pouted because it was one of those things that was working good for a long time, and then it decided it needed some love, and it was hard to tell where to start with it.
Yeah, because it can't tell you where it needs its love.
Mm-hmm. You see, the thing about mechanical things is they can't talk to you. So they're invented by people to work when they work, but when they don't, they just sit there, and you're just like, what is this thing? Like, what am I doing? You stare at it for an extended period of time. You try to figure out why it's not working. Most of the time, you don't even do anything. You just kind of look at it, and it looks fine. You're not sure at all why it's not working, but you just stare at it, and you're like...
why?
And then you just try some stuff.
Yeah.
So basically what I did was this, I kind of like to go from, I go, and I hope this is a good strategy, because I go from the most basic, it seemed to work this time, the most basic stuff, and then go more towards the complex things. Don't just assume that you need a new chip or a new board or you're going to have to bust out the soldering kit. I automatically think, and I don't even have a soldering kit. I'll probably get one maybe at some point, but you automatically think like, oh, I'm going to need like a soldering kit. Nice. Gonna need some new wires. I'm going to need, 17 hours, and I'm going to need a red wire, a blue wire, and a green wire.
And then I'm going to need all of these things and try to use these things, and it's not going to work anyway, so then I'm going to have to go see somebody about it. I'm going to have to pay them $300.
So I might as well just bring it to somebody else instead of even trying it.
And pay them $300.
Exactly. But no.
Uh-uh.
I decided to just give everything a light clean to see where that got me.
I would call that a light clean. I would call that a heavy clean.
Okay, so I gave everything a heavy clean.
I've never cleaned it in like 20 years because I'm a bad bassist.
So I did a heavy clean on it with some rubbing alcohol, a little bit of light sandpaper, extremely light, some Q-tips, a few other things. I just went in there and gave it a light, heavy cleaning, and then we started to get a little bit of sound out of it. So I cleaned the wires, I cleaned all the connections, and then the sound came back. So I think that between the dirtiest wires I've ever seen, and we probably should just get a new one, but with that one's going to hang on for a little bit until we find a replacement or we get one. But yeah, and then I cleaned all the connections. I opened it up, I cleaned, inside, and I just sprayed it and, did some stuff, clean it with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. I followed some videos, so a shout out to the people that have a few amp kind of cleaning tutorials out there. Shout out to you guys. You did help tremendously with creating a baseline for me to go at to try to figure out where to start. So shout out to those people out there also cleaning amps. Good stuff on making the cleaning videos because they do help. So thank you for that. Give a shout out to those people. And I watched a few of those, and then I just kind of tried my own steps because there wasn't any for that exact machine. So
makes sense.
Yeah. So there might have been one, but I think he was having a different issue than this one. Like he had sound in his, but it was like the sound was really low or something.
Okay.
So it was a different issue.
Fair.
But yeah, so we had to clean all of the knobs inside and all of the connections there with a little rubbing alcohol to free up the dirt. And a little bit of corrosion. There were some corrosion issues. So we cleaned that all up, got rid of some corrosion that was visible, and then kind of, got it going again. Mm-hmm. And it was a little staticky, but the more I just kept cleaning it, like slowly here and there, the more I kept turning it and cleaning it, I just did a little bit at a time, and then it seems to be back to, you know, what it was before.
Seems like it.
It's ripping pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, from what I could accomplish on my own, to fix it in the steps that I could do, it was, you know, pretty cool, because I was just kind of going with a few things, did a heavy cleaning, and then nothing was broken as far as like wires go. It was all still solidly connected in the machine.
I don't beat up my...
Yeah, you do a good job taking care of your equipment. Mm-hmm. And but yeah, the happy story.
I like it dirty.
The happy story about this bass amp is that it lives another day.
It does.
And yeah, she likes it dirty, so she doesn't clean it. But if it gives you no sound, then sometimes you got to give it some love and give it a little cleaning.
You got to make it give you sound.
Yeah, exactly. So the moral of the story is,
clean your shit.
Clean your shit, but also don't feel like you can't try things, because it's already broken anyway. So I mean, within the realms of what you can do, try a few things, and isopropyl alcohol does work.
It does.
It does work, folks.
It
does work.
Thing to have in
it
your home.
Cleans very well. I know I heard there's a few, but it's like that with everything, you know. Someone will say, "Oh, don't do that," or "Do this," or "Don't do that."
Why?
I don't really know why. There was just a few people that said don't use isopropyl alcohol. Only use the deoxidizer spray. Don't use any other cleaners. Only use this.
I don't trust those people.
It's kind of a strange thing. I mean, it's like you're cleaning something, so
why couldn't you use alcohol?
Yeah, it's like some people say, "Oh, don't clean with vinegar." Well, why? Because it smells like vinegar, and I don't like the smell of vinegar.
Well, that's your fault.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? Some people will tell you not to clean with vinegar because they don't like the smell of vinegar.
Vinegar cleans shit.
It's like it'll clean shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it'll get pennies clean to within, you know.
Yeah.
It'll just crunch it all down. So you can clean shit.
It might reek, but...
Yeah, some people will say don't use vinegar to clean because they don't like the smell of vinegar. It's like, well, okay, you don't have to use it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna use it.
That's not to say it's not a good thing to use.
I'm gonna clean something. I'm gonna make some French fries and then dip it in what I cleaned and then eat it. It's because I'm gonna have some leftover vinegar. Delicious. So if I clean a table with vinegar, I'm just gonna throw French fries on it. And then I'm going to get the best of all worlds. I'm going to get some French fries with some vinegar, a nice clean table.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually clean the table with potatoes.
Whoa. I'm not sure.
I had to tangent. Woo! I had to tangent because I thought it was funny.
That was funny.
So at the end of the day, folks, all I'm trying to say is if you want to clean a table, use potatoes.
Yep.
That's basically all I'm trying to say here.
Life lessons from the bar.
Life lessons from the bar is if you want to clean a table, use potatoes and vinegar, because at least that way you're getting your and make sure the potatoes are cooked, so then that way you can clean the table with a cooked potato and then eat it afterwards, and it's delicious.
Disclaimer, we are not responsible for any fuck-uppery that happens when you clean these
If you actually attempt to clean your table with cooked potatoes and vinegar, we are not responsible for the outcome of your delicious cooked potato with vinegar.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways. That's what you get from starting with the base amp cleaning to cooking potatoes and cleaning a table. So
it happens.
Advice from the bar, folks. Take it or leave it. It's up to you. It's up to you. We don't know. We don't know.
It's up to you.
We don't know. We're just hacking around.
Yeah, that's what we do. We hack.
But yes, that's an extremely positive story to restore things. You know, restore mechanical things, restoring cars, restoring whatever it may be. I think it brings a lot of self-accomplishment, you know? And especially for people like me who aren't necessarily engineers and like the creators of these mechanical things. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know how to make these circuit boards. Like I understand how they work, but I don't have the means to make them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't fully understand how they... I've watched a few things, but I can't personally make like circuit boards and all that stuff. Like that's not something that I know how to do. So.
I think if you tried to learn, like seriously tried to learn, you could.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, you know, you can learn how things work and you can learn how to make things too. But I guess what I'm trying to say is you have to have like factories with like the right equipment in order to make these circuit boards and stuff. You know what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. It's like you need access to Like, we live in a world now where it's like you need the machine to create the machine. Like, it's so weird, but... And if you're talking about circuit boards and stuff, like, you need the machine to create the circuit board that you put inside the amp to do whatever it does. Exactly. It amplifies your burp to make it louder. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how to make circuit boards myself. I don't have access to circuit board equipment. I enjoy learning about it and trying to fix it if it's not working. That's kind of what I like to do, you know, especially amps and sound things, because I just have a passion for, you know, music and sound and good sounding shit. So it's like, you know, I just want to make things sound better. It's just something that I've always enjoyed. Because, like, to me, it's like, why does this sound like crap? Like, this could sound better. Just like the projection of the way something sounds. Anything. So it's just my thing, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm a stickler for good quality audio.
I appreciate the good quality audio. I can hear it when it's shitty, but I don't know how to solve that problem. I don't have the knowledge and the know-how to solve those problems. I can just be like, that sounds like shit. Or that sounds good.
Fair. Yeah.
And then someone else needs to fix it for me.
That's fair. Now, my question to you is, is there anything that sounds like shit that sounds good?
What do you mean exactly?
Like, I guess what I'm trying to say, maybe we'll refer specifically to, like, songs and stuff. That, like, sometimes the quality of a recording might not be the best, but you still like the song so much that you can accept that the recording is, like,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of things I've listened to that are like that.
That's fair.
Because I listen to a lot of older music is recorded very crappily. Because they didn't have a lot to record with back then. But I shouldn't say that, because there's some old music that is recorded very well, because it just naturally sounded good. Because the people that were making the music were just good. That's
a good point, yeah. I think a lot of audio engineering and past engineering and sound design was done by either somebody who knew what they were doing or somebody who was winging it, and you can really tell the difference.
I think,
like, you can clearly tell, like, yeah.
I could be wrong on this, or maybe it's just a personal opinion, but for me, I find that some of the best sounding music was done accidentally or on the fly or without being overly practiced.
Yeah, just kind of like, this is the moment, let's record it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that a lot. Like, I think a lot of people might put too much time into thinking about what it's going to sound like.
Yeah.
And that can a lot of times deter from a good solid recording or something. If you're putting too much time into, I need to put 20 pedals on this and they all need to kick it off and on at exactly certain times, and you might be overthinking the sound a bit.
I think that's why sometimes I almost prefer listening to live music, like even if I'm just listening to a record or whatever.
Always.
Because
it's a person playing live.
Yeah.
They're going to make mistakes. A pedal's not going to work. They're going to hit the wrong note. It's a person just playing music. They're going to forget
the lyrics.
Yeah, and it's so much more real, because the recordings, you try to make them sound as good as they can, right? But the live stuff, it's like, it's expected that people make mistakes, and, you know, it's like you're the rocking. It should be. Like, there's nobody that can sing flawlessly for an hour and not make, like, a compliment. Like, that's impossible.
It is impossible.
Or, like, play bass for an entire hour and not miss a note or something.
You're gonna fuck up.
You're live, maybe you had a few beers, you know, it's whatever. You're moving, yeah.
Things are happening.
Exactly. You want to have fun with your song, too, so your hands all over the place. So it's like, I totally agree with you in the live aspect, for sure. It's like, you're gonna hear that, just what it's coming out as, right? And that was why, to me, there's a lot of live recordings that were done over time that I really enjoy watching. Because I'm like, wow, like, this is, you know, arguably better as a live recording than when they put the studio album out. Because they were just doing their thing up there, maybe a little bit looser on stage, or you get the audience feedback sometimes where they're cracking some jokes. There's a lot of Blink-182 live stuff that's hilarious. Because they're just up there cracking jokes, and it's just funny stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of their live stuff is great because it's just them on a stage on a tour or something.
Yeah, and it's funny, I've been listening to a lot of Elvis lately, and like different Elvis stuff that I'm not used to listening to or that I haven't really heard before.
Yeah.
Like some of his live stuff that I've never heard before, or some like recently I was listening to these, I guess they're called B tracks. I don't even know if you'd call them that, because they weren't ever mastered or overdubbed with anything or anything like that. It's just a raw recording. And it's so cool to listen to that. Yeah. Because you can hear the way everything was supposed to sound. Like the way everything sounded in its rawness, from his voice to the bass lines to the guitar. Yeah. Like just it's and like at the level that those musicians wanted it to be, you know, like someone didn't go in there and be like, okay, well, this is all about Elvis, so we need to jack up Elvis's vocals. Yeah. You know, it was just like at the proper level with the instruments. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, he fucked up, he made lyrical mistakes, and he just laughed it off. He'd make fun of it, or he'd make fun of the words on purpose. He was good
for that a lot, just to laugh off what he was doing, because he was such like in the moment with his song and whatever that, you know what I mean? Like he would just try and laugh it off, or, you know, just goof a little bit about it, right? So he was such a performer in a sense that he always just kind of seemed like he was so in the moment that if he made a mistake or something or whatever it was, he was just, you know, over it in a few seconds, because he just knew that, you know, he's just up there trying his best, and he's a serious performer, but at the same time, he was always having fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes him cool.
Yeah, and I was listening to something when I was doing my makeup, and, or was that yesterday? No, that was today. His, like, I guess what you would call his breakout song or whatever.
Yeah.
That's Alright Mama. That was a fluke. It was a fluke.
Way,
it was, they were recording other stuff. I forget the songs.
Yeah.
Maybe Blue Moon of Kentucky, maybe. Okay. In any event. So they were kind of taking a break because they were struggling to record these songs. Okay. And then they just started playing and jamming.
Oh, no way.
And he just started, you know, kind of ad-libbing the song, and the guy recording them was like, hey, whoa. Yeah. Whoa, wait. Like, cool. Let's record this.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened.
Cool.
And that catapulted Elvis into where he wanted to go. And it's crazy to think that might not have happened.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like a spontaneous thing.
I think I remember hearing something similar said by, I believe it was Dave Grohl, who said he was playing something, and he said, oh, I'm just going to record this as a demo or whatever. It's just like a couple chords he was playing.
Okay.
And the guy said, like, yeah, come in, record or something. And then he was like, dude, I love that. Like, this has to be on the album. Like, why is this just a little demo? Like, make a full song with this.
Right.
So then he was like, oh, okay. And then he just kept playing. I don't remember exactly what song it was.
Right.
But he just kept playing that riff, and it turned out to be one of their bigger songs. But he was just kind of messing around with something. He's like, I'm just gonna record this as like a demo riff or everything. I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, like it happened.
And then he just recorded it, and then the guy who was recording him listened to it and said, like, you gotta like make that into a song. Like, keep going with that.
And it's funny that happened with Nirvana.
So yeah, so he never really thought much of it. It was just like a couple simpler things, and then it turned into like a whole one of their bigger songs.
Why?
Might have been Learning to Fly or something. I can't remember exactly what song, but it's funny how that happens.
Yeah, it happens more often than.
Yeah, somebody's just performing, and then someone else is like, well, like, let's just, like, either record that or do something more with it, you know? So that does happen a lot.
And sometimes you need that other person's ear, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially if you've been twiddling away at something for a long time.
And that also...
This episode's going to be majority of Elvisness.
Yeah, he also woke me up in the middle of the night... So I woke up in the middle of the night, just go to the washroom.
Elvis will have a
habit and Elvis was playing on her phone, and I thought that I was like hearing a thing. I don't know what was going on. I woke up. It was right in the middle. It was right in the middle of the night, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what? Okay, I'm hearing Elvis.
Okay, wait. Slight
there was girls screaming.
I have a fan noise on my phone because I need the sound to sleep.
Yeah.
I need some sort of ambient noise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. And then her phone kicked on to Elvis at some point, and then which never happens, but it happened this night. And so in the middle of the night, I'm waking up and I'm just about to go to the washroom, and then all of a sudden I hear I was hearing Elvis in bed, and I'm like, oh, like what's?
Thinking you're dreaming about
Yeah, and then some girls were yelling because he was playing live.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what am I hearing? What's going on? And then I'm half asleep, so I stumble out of bed, and then I'm like, okay, I'm still hearing Elvis. And then I look over and I finally figure out it's coming from your phone.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what is going on? Why am I hearing Elvis? I'm just trying to go to the bathroom.
It's funny, going back to shitty recordings or shitty sounding things, that's one of the things I would say is a shitty sounding thing that I've been listening to a lot, is that particular recording of that performance. Because it's the only one out there in existence.
Yeah, okay, fair. This is like some B-side stuff.
Well, it was...
Or this isn't even on, like, albums.
No.
This is just recorded. They kind of got lost a little. The lost tapes.
He performed it either on, like, a U.S. military ship.
Okay. So this is some lost tapes from a period of time.
Yeah, it just happened really quickly.
Fair.
Because of Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
And so he kind of did like a benefit show or whatever.
Okay.
And like the Colonel never recorded that. That recording is just from somebody. And so it's really shitty because it's just some person recording it. It's not a professional recording. And that's why the girls screaming are so loud. And they actually overpower his voice a lot.
Okay.
And, like, even him, like, you could tell that he was just feeding off of that.
Nice.
Because he would stop, like, singing, and he would just kind of...
Yeah, like, how can you even keep singing with that many girls screaming at you? Like, it seems so, like, he's just like, I'm trying to play something, the girls are just...
Like, there are parts in that recording where he kind of just goes, "Moo!" just to, like, hear them scream, because he thought it was funny.
It is funny. It's hilarious. I'm like, how do you even... And he couldn't sometimes because the girls were screaming so much.
Yeah, so...
How does a person even, like, carry
That's where
on?
that recording came from. So it must have sounded really weird.
It did sound weird. And this is the Elvis Christmas album, but not really. It does say the Elvis Christmas album on here.
So I chose the album of the week this week because I've been listening to a lot of Elvis. Should we go into the Elvis of the week, the album of the week first, or should we say why I've been listening to a lot of Elvis lately? Not that I never listen to Elvis, I'm obsessed, but
let's go into the album.
Okay. So
of the week is Elvis.
This is yes. So I guess is this. Okay, I don't know if we'd consider this a double album of the week or not. You will decide this once I tell the story, because I like stories.
Amanda's got a good story here, folks.
So
I'll hold it. Okay. You tell the story.
So I was going to buy records because it's fun. And I was looking for an Elvis record, and I saw this one, thinking it was a Christmas album. And listening to Elvis at Christmas is tradition for me.
That's a pretty cool tradition. It's Christmas time to put on some Elvis.
I listen to Elvis at Christmas.
He's got a good heart. It's a good time to listen to Elvis around Christmas.
It's a thing.
Makes sense.
So I was like, sweet, okay, I'm gonna get this Christmas album, and I got excited about it. So I didn't really look at it. Okay. And it was fairly cheap, and I was a very poor human being. Just moved. And so had very little cash to spend.
Financially stiff.
Yes. But still wanting to listen to music. So I'm like, hey, sweet. So I picked it up, I bring it home, I'm all excited, and I pull it out of its sleeve, and little do I realize that the record inside of the Christmas album sleeve is not the Christmas album, but what's known as the Gold Album, which is basically like a greatest hits. And not only is it not the first record, it's the second one. And it does say it. It's written twice on the front of this record sleeve. And I just got too excited about Elvis Christmas.
So I was going to ask you, that writing was there before you bought it, so it was clearly indicated that this was not the Christmas. Maybe they should have scratched out.
They did. It's just really hard to see. There's actually a pen scratch there.
Oh my God, there is too.
And it's written twice, so it's written right here. Yeah. In that same scratchy pen, and then it's written up top in black.
Dude, look at this. Someone scratched out red with a red pen.
Isn't that terrible?
Someone decided that scratching out red, they're never going to be able to see this. Someone decided that scratching out red with a red pen is a good idea, folks. Listen, if you want to scratch out red, please do not do what this person did and scratch it out with a red pen.
Probably what's this guy's name?
Oh my God. McBain.
No, it's not McBain.
McBain decided it was a good idea.
I'm like,
don't scratch any color, any other color. Who even has a red pen? Does anybody have a red pen anymore?
I like red pens.
Yeah, okay, red pens. But don't scratch out red with red. Oh my God!
Look at the history of this album.
What are you doing?
And like this thing is like
this
thing is OG.
Green pen.
He recorded these
Black pen.
songs with
anything else.
Like like look at this thing. This thing is so old.
Oh yeah.
It's got like the dude's name on it.
Yeah. So this is the Gold Album second disc.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, it's so beat up. I don't even know if this works anymore. I haven't listened to this album in a long time. Yeah. Look how beat up this thing is.
Look at that, folks. That's an original from. When's
that
press? We won't be able to tell on this because it would probably be on the case, but it's not on here.
And like the sticker thing on the middle of the vinyl is I shouldn't hold it. Oh, this thing's so scratchy it doesn't even matter. Like you can't. I mean, the Gold Album's not that old. Well, it probably is now in the grand scheme of life, but
dude,
in Elvis's recording this, it's not that old.
I think that having this cover with the Gold Album Volume 2 in it is actually, to me, cooler than having the Christmas album itself.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Because I think that this package that you have is a complete mystery cluster that it's like, it psychs you up, and then you think you're about to hear a Christmas Elvis album, and then
it's like,
boom.
Just kidding.
Yeah, it's like, just kidding, you know. It's almost like in the movie when they were recording the Christmas stuff, but it wasn't Christmas at all, you know what I mean? So it is fitting, and I think this is probably, this cover itself is probably hard to find. Like, I don't know if there'd be that many of this pressing.
I think that one's like the OG cover, just judging from the picture and
the
writing.
Look at how old it is. Like,
it is old.
It's a classic.
Even the back of it, you can tell it's old.
Well, this would have a date on it, I would imagine.
I couldn't find one. I looked. No, maybe I just missed it. Yeah.
That's a crazy story, though. And you picked this up, where? You got this at a yard sale?
No, I got it at...
there's There's no date on this.
Okay, do you remember that music store that used to be... It was on Elm Street.
I think
it's now like one of those cash money stores.
Santa Claus is coming to town. It's a cash money store?
I think so.
Okay.
It was right on the corner where there's like a convenience store where the old country radio station was.
Yeah.
Across the street.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Beside the pizza place.
Beside Pizza? Pizza? Yeah,
there.
Okay.
There was a music store there that I used to go to all the time.
Yeah, that's cool. And you got it there.
I got it there, yeah. Okay. He was cool.
I think this is Ron McGrath. Ron McGrath, if you have the Christmas Elvis album, I think that's who you are. Ron McGrath, we have your Christmas album.
If you're still with us, I'd appreciate it if you sent it to me.
Yeah, you send us the... Imagine we just got this Christmas album from some guy named Ron McGrath who's like, I have the album, but I don't have the cover for it.
Shit. Or if anybody out there sees this and has this particular Christmas album and wants to make my life...
Send a comment. Send it to us.
Let me know.
We would be willing to receive
I'll pay for shipping.
Yeah, we'll cover the shipping if you want to send us the Christmas vinyl that goes with this.
Yep.
So then that way you would have the gold.
It's just called Elvis Christmas Album.
You would have the gold album volume 2 and you would have the Christmas album.
It says Elvis sings Christmas songs. Elvis Christmas Album. Like there's no thought put into this.
Elvis Christmas Album.
Like you could tell that the Colonel was just like, dude, you need to sing Christmas music and this is what's happening.
Oh my god,
you need to make music. You need to be my bitch.
Like, it's wild to think that like artists do Christmas songs. There's so many artists that put out Christmas albums, and they're fun. They're cool.
Oh my god, it's because
they're fun.
It's
money. It's a great fun thing, and it's cool for artists to sing all these classic Christmas songs.
It's like what's his nuts? Buble.
But it's like, yeah, sure.
Buble stays hidden.
And then
years.
he comes
out twice a year.
Yeah.
He comes out during Christmas, and he comes out during the Grammys.
He knows when to do his thing, exactly.
And then he comes out with all of his suave.
Yeah.
And then he goes away.
Yeah, he's just living his life. He knows what he's doing, and he's doing it, and that's what matters.
Yep.
But, I think, like, the Elvis Christmas album, like, Santa Claus is back in town, White Christmas, Here Comes Santa Claus,
like
right down Santa Claus Lane. I'll be home for Christmas, Blue Christmas, Santa brings my baby back to me. Yeah, and then side 2, Oh Little Town, Bethlehem.
Of Bethlehem.
Silent Night.
Is it pronounced Bethlehem?
There'll be peace in the valley for me. I believe.
That's a nice song.
Take my hand, precious Lord. It is no secret what God can do. I would totally be down to listen to this album, and I mean, I'm sure you could find it on CDs and digitals and cassette tapes, but I would like to listen to the vinyl. I would like to listen to the vinyl. Maybe one day we'll be able to fill this with the Christmas album, and if anybody happens to see that out there and wants to get in touch with us and send us the Christmas album that belongs with this case,
big heart,
we will be forever grateful, and we'll pay for shipping.
Yep.
We'll cover the shipping.
I will cover shipping.
We'll cover the shipping.
Yep.
If you don't want to pay for shipping,
if you do, I love you.
If you want to just send it to us for completely without having us to pay for shipping.
My birthday's next month.
It's her birthday next month. And if you're watching this in a few years from now, it's her birthday.
It's still next month.
It's her birthday next month.
It's my birthday next month.
No matter what month you're watching.
Next month.
No matter what month you're watching this in, at what point in time, it's her birthday next month. And if you want, this is great. If you want to send us this, just remember, all you need to know is that it's her birthday next month. So feel free to send this to us. Send us a comment. Get in touch. If you have the Elvis Christmas vinyl and you want to send it our way, we won't say no. Because I'd like to listen to that.
Yeah.
The vinyl. The special vinyl edition. It'd be great.
It would be wonderful.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like you say, a lot of stuff that they made him do, that whether he wanted to do or not, it was like... But what was it to Elvis to sing some Christmas songs? Like
he loved Christmas.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not like it was like this like abominable thing that he was like, oh no. It's like he loved Christmas. He loved singing songs. He probably had a great time making the album.
Probably.
So it's not like it's like this complete like, oh my god, he probably didn't even want to make the Christmas album. It's like maybe it wasn't his favorite songs to sing, but I'm sure he had a good time making it.
I don't know if Elvis ever sang a song that he hated. Because he was so involved in choosing his music and arranging it that I don't think he'd ever sing a song that he didn't want to sing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah. That's what I'm saying too. It's like, he was a great singer, a performer that did all these amazing songs and put out cool Christmas songs. Like, that's great.
For a lot of his early life, people told him he couldn't sing.
Yeah, that's wild.
For years and years and years.
Crazy, eh?
Yeah, like when he was in like high school, when he was in elementary school, he was told he couldn't sing.
I think being a singer is incredibly tough for anybody that is a singer out there. I don't care if you're a popular singer or somebody who is completely unknown. I think being a singer is just a tough thing because I think to me singing is one of those things that, like most things, if you don't practice or you don't sing every day, like you're not necessarily going to get better at it.
Yeah.
So there's people that can sing that maybe wouldn't call themselves singers because they don't do it every day. But then I think in order to call yourself a singer, you gotta be hitting it every day, whether you're singing in the shower, you're singing in the, in the car.
I don't think every day.
Okay.
I don't think so, because
fair.
There's stuff that I don't do every day. I think
that's true. I don't play drums every day.
No, but you would still call yourself a drummer.
Yeah, whether I'm better than I was a year ago or not, because I have less practice, doesn't, in my mind, make me more or less of a drummer. No. I'm just either more practiced or less practiced.
Yeah.
I'm either rusty or doing not bad.
That's always been something that I struggle with, and maybe
I kind of agree with that too.
Maybe that's like the label sort of thing that makes me kind of go. Ugh.
Yeah.
But calling myself something.
I don't like labels.
No,
I don't like labels.
Whether
I
it's
hate labels.
being a musician, whether it's being an artist, whether it's being a scientist, whether it doesn't matter. Like
putting labels on people is
I don't
weird.
like calling myself that. I'm like, I'm a human that does things.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that way of looking at it too. It's like whether you have skills in music or you don't, it's like, yeah, you can call someone a musician because maybe they can play some music, but like, we're just kind of people, so some person might be better or do it a different way. Does that make them any more or less of a guitar player just because they can't play as good as that person? It's
no,
like...
I don't think, and like there's some famous musicians out there, like Paul Simonon, who, not to be confused with Cinnamon, who's the bass player for The Clash, and he could not play a lick of a note on the bass.
There you go.
He sucked balls. Mm-hmm. It was... burp. It was Mick Jones that taught him how to play bass.
Cool.
But no one in their right mind would ever say that Paul Simonon is not a bassist.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people that see someone doing something that from the outside viewer, like, oh, he's playing a bass, he's a bassist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the person could just be standing there playing a couple notes, and they don't even really know what the
notes
are.
Well, who knows, even now that we're on The Clash, maybe some person walked into a Clash gig one time because they switched instruments a lot. Okay, so maybe someone walked into a Clash gig and saw Joe Strummer playing the bass. They would automatically be like, oh, that dude's the bassist.
Yeah.
But he would only do that on a couple of songs.
That's fair. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I think, to just... to leave people just, some people are good at different things. I just kind of like looking at it that way.
Yeah.
It's hard to say like, you're a bassist, but like that person might be able to play guitar and drums and maybe they can dabble on a violin, you know what I mean? So to call them a bassist is just like,
Well, even Elvis, like people call him a singer. And yeah, he was a singer, but he was more than that. Like, he was an incredible piano player. Mm-hmm. He was a composer.
Exactly.
He was an arranger. He was a director. He was an actor.
Yeah.
He was an actor before he was a singer, technically.
No, for sure. I think, like, to me, I agree with you in a sense that, like, we're all just kind of like, we're people first, and then what we're good at or what, kind of we seem to do more of is just kind of what we do. But at the same time, it's like, you can have a good day and a bad day at anything.
Absolutely.
Anything. It doesn't matter what it is.
No.
If you're feeling off on a day.
Sometimes you just have a bad day.
Yeah, you're just having a bad day. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
No.
You're a bad day at music.
And you can be in a good mood and have a bad day.
You can be in a great mood and have a bad day.
It's happened.
And you can have a good day and be feeling like shit. So it's like, that can happen too.
Yep.
But I think as long as you're in a good overall mood with what you're doing,
kick the lights.
With most of your time, I think that's extremely important. Because what you do with your time is ultimately your life. So you got to kind of enjoy what you're doing with your time.
I'm getting better at that.
It takes a lot of time. It's all about the amount of time.
I lost myself for a little while.
It's all about the amount of time.
I feel like I uncovered my own fossil.
Went fossil hunting and...
I found myself.
I didn't find some oil, I found some fossils, you know what I'm saying?
Found myself.
Well, I found myself
in the fossil hunting and I found myself.
I found myself in a patch of dinosaur fossils.
Yay.
A patch of bones, man. A patch of bones.
Yay.
Yeah, I like doing voices.
Me too, it's fun.
I think if there's something that I want to set as a goal for myself is to just get better at doing like voiceovers, maybe for characters or for animation or something, because I feel like I can do good voiceover stuff. I just haven't practiced a lot. But I think if I practice more, I can probably do more like just more voiceover things for maybe some animations or just whatever. Because I can do some pretty funny voices, you know? I'm going to try a little bit.
You can do funny voices. Your struggle is staying consistent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I need some practice. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that this is something that I do every day.
No, I know.
But I just got to practice to the point where I can do some better voiceover animation. On the run.
Sorry, I got that song in my head all of a sudden. Out of nowhere.
But yeah, I definitely enjoy the, performances of this man, the legend himself. It's like,
and I will fight anyone who argues that.
Yeah, and to live that,
and I don't fight.
To live that type of life while you're, to live that type of life while you're a person is an incredible feat, because normal people have a hard time doing maybe, 2 or 3 things in a day. But this dude put on 3 or 4 shows in like a day. Like,
I think the most he did was 3.
He performed, like, he was performing in front of people 3 or 4 different places, different setups. You know what I mean? They'd wheel him in on a car, he'd play on a random stage, they'd wheel him out, he'd go up the road, play somewhere else.
And not
he
only
was
did he
was
that,
doing this in his days. This was this guy's days.
And not only did he do that, but he also took time to talk to his fans, to sign autographs, to take pictures.
Yeah.
And like, our modern day celebrities don't even go to that extent anymore.
Yeah, I think there's nobody in today's world that's living the way that this guy did.
There will never be anyone that lived the life that Elvis did.
Gonna say that.
I'm gonna say it.
I'm not gonna say
I put my stamp down.
I'm not gonna say that.
I'm gonna say it.
I'm not gonna say that.
No?
No.
You think there will be someone that will come along that will have the legacy, drive, and skill that Elvis developed?
Yeah.
All right.
Because he was busting out probably like 1955, right? So I'm thinking like 100 years from, I'm thinking like in 100 years from when Elvis was busting out, there's going to be something
like
else.
2055?
That's why I said that, yeah. I'm thinking in another maybe 20, 30 years, things are weird, but,
We'll see in 20 years. I feel like I might still be alive unless something really happens.
It's like you hope that there's never...
I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening, not because people couldn't do that, but because of the way society is now. Like, I don't know. I just like...
You just don't think there'll ever be another legend that can be as big or as loved as a character, as a performer, as just a person.
Yeah.
A good person,
This overall being,
That's fair,
he, I will say, is loved for his musical talent, his contribution to the music industry, his performances, his...
look, we're talking about him right now. He's the album of the week.
His outfits, he's still topping charts, and he's been dead for, he died in 74?
Don't look at me.
I think it was 74.
I'm not going to confirm this.
74? I'm going to say 74.
I don't want to confirm it. You could be right.
I feel like I should know that.
You could be right.
But I think it was 74. So, I suck at math. But, he still tops the charts. He's in the top 3. Still. As a dead man. Since 74.
I know.
There's no one else like that.
There's up and coming artists that are just sitting there Elvis is still ahead of me, and they've been going at it for 20 years. They've been going since the year 2000, and they're like, how is Elvis still more popular than I am? There's literally artists that are alive right now that are just sitting there with their head on their hand, just Elvis is still more popular than me.
Yeah.
The guy's been gone for a bit. You can't... Yeah, that's true. That's quite the thing. Like to just be ahead of people that are actually here alive right now. And there's up and coming artists that are great and amazing.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there like, I
haven't heard one yet.
I have 2 or 3 albums.
I think.
And Elvis is still ahead of me.
I think
the guy's been gone for a while. And
I might get kicked in the box for saying this. Oh, but shit. I think the last artist I remember, or that comes to mind in recent years, where I would look at that person and say, this person has some type of longevity where, at least in the music world, where their music is going to carry on through generations. Yeah, yeah. And that person, Lady Gaga. Okay. She is the latest, lover or hater, she's the latest musical artist that has made an impact the way I would say that Elvis made an impact. That's true. I wouldn't disagree with that. She had, has, tons of controversy about her, has crazy outfits. She's done acting, she's done arranging, she sings, she performs. Yeah. It's true. I don't know what it is with artists and having to have controversy associated to them. I think it's part of the being. I think it's just part of the life. It doesn't matter. You look at every artist or performer that ever existed, and it feels like there's just some level of controversy that sticks, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why. A professional musician, you need to have a rebellious streak. Maybe. Because it's such an unorthodox way of making a living, quote unquote. Yeah, and you're also a performer for a living, and it's your music and it's your passion to voice your opinion, whether it's with the grain or against the grain. Mm-hmm. It's just you being you, saying what you feel. Yeah. So a lot of people that do that, which most musicians and artists are doing, create that controversy because they're either going against something full front, they're against the majority, they're not with it, or even if they are with it, then they're the leader of it. You know what I mean? There's a good example like you brought up, leader of whatever it is, mm-hmm. and whether you're for something with the majority or against it, you're the voice of it. You know mm-hmm. what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there's a certain level of controversy that definitely comes along with a lot of those careers and a lot of that for sure. Yeah, I think so. I don't really fully understand it, but you can just see the associations everywhere. Yeah. It doesn't matter who you look at. No, and it doesn't. I don't even think it really matters the style of music. No, the style of music doesn't matter at all. You can look at someone who plays rock and roll music, or you can look at someone who does pop music. Yeah, Smashing Pumpkins. I was listening to some Billy Corgan the other day, and he had some controversial things in the 90s that he was part of, and he was part of all kinds of controversial stuff. Oh my god, yeah. Smashing Pumpkins were huge, and but there was the controversy too. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. So it's kind of a lot of that stuff, that happened in the 90s that were going on with the Smashing Pumpkins and a few other bands in the 90s and people like that were voicing their opinions, but creating a lot of controversy. But it goes hand in hand for sure. I think so too. Well, let's just leave it on controversy. Yeah, I feel like we babbled a lot. We did. I went on a tangent. That was a fun episode. And we could keep talking about controversy for a long time. I could probably keep talking about Elvis for a long time too. Maybe we'll do a full thing on just Elvis and controversy. That feels like we could talk about that for a long time. Ooh. We'll write some topics. We'll do I don't know. It'll do itself. Yeah, I don't want to think about that right now. No, it'll do itself. But yeah, that was fun. It was fun. Thank you everyone for coming out. Thanks. We hope that you find the Christmas album, and remember that next month is her birthday. Mine. Next month, no matter when, it's her birthday. It's my birthday. So if you have I would love a Christmas album. This Christmas album. Bye, everyone. For my birthday. My birthday! I digress.